Welcome back to Business Communication Skills. This is the last module in our networking course, and we'll be focusing on making arrangements and invitations in writing, text messages and emails. You'll also learn how to accept and decline an invitation politely in an email. Finally, you will learn how to write a follow-up email after meeting someone. In this first lesson, we'll focus on text messages, how and when to send texts in a business setting. Here are the learning outcomes for this lesson. These days, it seems people are always on their phones. And why not? We can do so much on them, but we should be careful because our phones give us many opportunities to make mistakes, offend someone, or embarrass ourselves. And in business, that can be costly. So let's start by learning some guidelines for using your phone to send text messages in business. Oh, and by the way, it's not a good idea to text during a meeting, like in the picture. You learned in Module 3 that it is good to be clear and concise when writing an email. Well, this is even truer for text messages. We don't have much time or space to write long messages on the phone, so they should be short and clear. Here are two examples. Which message is clearer? Of course, the second one is clearer and a lot easier to write too. Between friends, using texting abbreviations is common, but with business contacts, using too many can look unprofessional, and the receiver may not even know what you mean. Using commonly known abbreviations is okay. For example, BTW instead of by the way, FYI instead of for your information, or W/E for weekend. But do you know these abbreviations? Even if you do, maybe the person you are sending the message to doesn't. Oh, and here are the meanings, by the way. It's better to spell out words like you and later instead of typing you and L8R. It looks much more professional. The good thing about using phones and emails today is the autocorrect feature. However, you should always double-check your message before sending it to make sure that one of your words hasn't been changed to something embarrassing. Here's an example. One time I received a message from a professional contact. He wanted to write, "Are you surprised?" But it was changed to, "Are you stupid?" Because texting is short and direct, it should only be used for simple routine topics. Remember, routine means normal and common topics. When we read a text message, we don't see any body language or facial expressions. Also, we don't hear the writer's tone of voice. This makes it difficult to communicate anything but simple topics in a text. Using emojis is fine between friends or close colleagues, but it's not a good idea when you want to give a professional impression. Texting someone with bad news or a negative comment is not really a good idea in business. If you received this text message, you probably wouldn't be impressed with the sender. Here's another tip. Sometimes your contact might not know who you are if you send a text message because they will sometimes just see the phone number. So, especially if it's the first time you are sending a text to the person, use your name at the end of the message. And actually, in some messaging programs, you can automatically add your name at the end of a message by going to the signature option. Finally, let's think about what you do when you receive a message. Unlike with an email, the writer probably expects an immediate response. So, as long as it's appropriate for you to text, don't wait too long to reply, even if it's a simple OK. These days, we can also use instant messaging apps. Instant messaging is faster, and you can write longer messages and send images, audio, and video. But a lot of the guidelines are the same as for traditional text message. So, let's review the guidelines you've learned about sending text messages in business. Because text messages are short and can be read and answered quickly, they are useful when we want to make arrangements. Look at this example. The language is clear and they have made the arrangements very quickly. Imagine if they had done this over email. It might have taken a lot longer because there usually would be a longer time gap between each email message, and maybe one of the people would even forget to answer. Now, look at this example. These days, with smartphones, you can send links and maps, making it very convenient to make arrangements. Notice that in text messages, it is also common to use incomplete sentences. And sending a text message is very convenient when things don't exactly go as planned. For example, if you are late or the place is full or closed. Here are some examples of what to write if you're late. And here are some examples if the place where you plan to meet is closed or full. Now, let's do a quiz to practice some of the language to make updates to arrangements. When you're running late, it's okay to send a text to the other person to let him or her know where you are, but what should you do if you need to cancel the meeting? Look at this example. How would you feel if you received this message? Unless you are good friends with each other, it might not give a good impression. Also, what if the other person didn't see the text and was waiting for you? This would be very embarrassing. The best thing to do in this situation is to make a call, so that you know the other person has got the message. You can also make other alternative plans. Listen to this example.
Hi Eric, Sarah here. Listen, I'm afraid something's come up and I have to cancel our meeting today. I'm really sorry.
Oh, that's too bad. No problem. I understand.
But I'd still like to get together before you leave. Are you free tomorrow around 10?
I think so. I'll have to check with my colleague, but I'll text you to confirm. Same place?
Sure, and my treat.
Well, thank you.
Hopefully see you tomorrow then.
Yes, I'm looking forward to it. Thanks for calling.
No problem. Bye.
Bye.
So, how do you decide when to text and when to call? Let's go through some examples. What would you use if you don't want to disturb someone or interrupt what they are doing? Sending a text is better in this case because although the person may not answer the call, a text is less disruptive and allows them to answer as soon as it is convenient. How about if you want to explain something? Making a call is better because explaining something is more complex and you can check if the other person has understood. You need an answer as soon as possible. People will usually answer phone calls sooner than texts. You are contacting someone for the first time. Making a call is definitely better than sending a text, or even better would be sending an email. Send text messages to someone you have been in contact with before. It's after business hours. Sending a text would be better because maybe the other person is relaxing or having dinner and a text won't disturb them as much as a call would. Of course, if you are busy or somewhere where it would be difficult to talk, then sending a text would be best. But remember, only if it's something that is not complicated or where you don't need to be indirect. So, now you know how to write and when it is appropriate to use text messages in business situations and still present a professional image. Let's finish this lesson with a short exercise where you'll be writing some text messages.